break it down right there up at the top. And we got arguably one of the best games of the weekend, and that is the Chicago Bears heading into Ford Field to take on the Detroit Lions. Guys, both teams right now are sitting at 0-1. Both fan bases are uneasy, and somebody is leaving this game in a serious hole to start the season, aka 0-2. Now, when we break down this game on the Chicago Bears taking on the Detroit Lions, guys, I want to start on the Chicago Bears sideline because this team has Caleb Williams. As Caleb Williams enters his second year, and with that becomes higher expectations, right? Obviously, playoffs, Super Bowl aspirations are surrounding the Chicago Bears with Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams, and the list goes on and on and on. Week 1 was a mixed bag for Caleb Williams. He started off sharp, right? He was 13 for 16 in the first half, but when the Vikings cranked up the blitzes in the second half, the wheels came off. Matter of fact, he finished with the league's worst 29.4% off-target rate. For a quarterback who was already near at the bottom of the accuracy last season, that's a major red flag. That sucks. And the Bears know they cannot afford to be one-dimensional, right? Offensive coordinator Shane Johnson admitted he called fewer than 20 runs last week and promised to get rookie Kyle Mongolia more involved, right? They need that balance because if Detroit blitzes anywhere near the 57% rate that they showed in week 1, Williams is going to get pressured into mistakes unless he has a run game to lean on. Guys, and let's not forget the environment. Ford Field is going to be loud. Maybe even nastier than usual after Detroit's offense looked flat out without Ben Johnson. Chicago will have to use a silence cadence, and if the offense line isn't locked in, false starts could become a real problem early. And then on the flip side, on the Detroit Lions side of things, guys, Dan Campbell and the Lions are desperate to avoid their first 0-2 start since 2021. That's Campbell's very first season when he was in charge. The storyline this week has been the return of Ben Johnson and the Bears offensive and like now the Bears head coach, who knows the Detroit personnel inside and out. Dan Campbell downplayed it, saying that it's a level playing field, but let's just be real. The chess match is going to matter at the end of the day. The Lions need Jared Goff to be steady. Here's the crazy stat for you. Jared Goff can become the first quarterback since Aaron Rodgers to win 11 straight games immediately following a loss. That's veteran resilience at its finest. And Detroit is banking on him to right the ship in week 2. But the question is, can the defense hold up? Yes, the defense. The heavy blitz strategy backfield last week, leaving them exposed to big plays. Chicago has weapons, and it could fit at least 3 explosive big plays if Detroit isn't careful. The key matches for this week for me to watch is Caleb Williams versus the Detroit Lions blitz. Can he stay composed and deliver accurate throws? Right off the bat, I'm going to probably say no. He's not going to be able to do it. He has not proven to us that he can do that yet. Next up is the Bears rushing attacks versus Kyle Mongolia. I'm not sure saying it right, but will they finally find the balance? Can they be a 50-50 team? That's going to be huge. And then Jared Goff versus the Bears secondary. Can Goff extend drives with keep Detroit on schedule? That's one thing that the Lions struggle with in week 1. Excuse me. Now, if you are a fantasy footballer, for the fantasy managers out there, Caleb Williams can still put up 24 points last week despite the struggles. That's kind of upside that he brings if you are into that fantasy game. But he also brings boom or bust. If the Detroit Lions pressure him into mistakes, Goff, meanwhile, can stay the floor play if the Lions effectively over-aggressive. Vegas predictions, guys, had the Lions favorite at 6.5 with the over-under at 40.5. Dan Campbell is 51-30 against the spread. That's the best record since the AFL-NFL merger. That's a coach who usually gets his team ready. But here is how I see it. Chicago will look better this week. Caleb Williams will hit a couple of those deep throws. But at the end of the day, Detroit is at home. They're angry. They've got Jared Goff track record bouncing back on their side. And the Lions take care of business. I think the final score is 27-20 Detroit Lions at home. But what do you guys think? In the comments down below, guys, let me know. What do you think? Who is going to win this game? What is your final score and why do they win?